This is really sad to hear. I'll leave it linked down in the description below. Extinction of Florida Panther, a concern if halted subdivisions given green light to continue. It says take all the streets, lakes, schools, and sports teams mascots in Florida named Panther, and they will likely exceed the actual number of big cats left in the state's wild areas. There was a time not long ago when that wasn't the case. More than a century ago, there were at least 500 panthers throughout the southeastern U.S. from Georgia and Alabama west to Louisiana and Mississippi, and from Tennessee and South Carolina down to the Florida Keys. Facing habitat loss and hunger from urban sprawl, as well as being hunted either because the panther was feared or the hunter wanted the animal's soft pelts. Panther numbers dwindled quickly. Panther hunting was banned in 1958, and in 1967, Florida panthers were the first animal to be put on the federal endangered species list. And in 1973, the puma relative was named a Florida protected species. At that point, in the mid-1990s, there were only about 10 Florida panthers known to exist. Quick-thinking scientists imported 8 female pumas from Texas to supplement the gene pool, and 10 years later, the number of Florida panthers was about the same as today, roughly 200. That's the current size of the last known breeding population in the world. Panthers at home in Lee, Collier, and Hendry counties that have a common border with each other in southwest Florida. To the west in the Gulf of Mexico, and to the east is more than 1 million acres of largely undeveloped panther country amongst hardwoods, hammocks, cypress, swamps, and pine in the western Everglades. Since the near extinction event in the mid-1990s, the population of Florida's state animal has managed to stay above 100 despite consistent deadly run-ins with cars, trucks, and the occasional train. Quotes, at least 250 panthers have been killed or died mostly under non-natural circumstances between the beginning of 2014 and now, according to Florida's Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. A handful of interspecies conflicts and other issues have contributed as well. The species have been able to have enough kittens each year to keep up with the deaths, but even the most somber environmentalists are sure that will change for the worst if a pair of huge residential developments planned for the eastern reaches in Lee and Collier counties finally get legal go-ahead they've been waiting for. That's because environmental reviews of the 10,000 home Kingston project in Lee County and the 2750 home Belmar subdivision in Collier County by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service found as many as 23 more panthers would be hit and killed every year just due to the mere presence of 2 new villages, their new roadways, and the thousands of additional vehicle trips through panther country. Yet the agency gave the green light to both projects anyway. That would roughly double the average number of panther deaths per year, while the number of kitten births would remain the same or even decrease as more and more female panthers were hit and killed. Quotes, there are only 8 panthers born each year, end quote, said Julianne Thomas, a panther expert with the Conservancy of Southwest Florida. Quotes, it doesn't take a lot of advanced math to think this is unsustainable, end quotes. The only reason why Belmar and Kingston are not already under construction is due to the successful legal Hail Mary from lawyers at Earth Juice and other major environmental nonprofits that convinced a federal judge to put the brakes on any new permits of the type needed to non-compliance with the Endangered Species Act. Many of the other legal safeguards that would keep developments like Belmar and Kingston from being under atop wetlands with protected panther habitat have been dismantled or weakened in recent years. Quotes, the regulations have been completely eroded to the developers' favor, and Panther is going to pay the price, end quote, said Patty Whitehead of the Responsible Growth Management Coalition of Southwest Florida. There is no mechanism now to protect the panthers. There isn't. It's just gone in Florida. It's gone, end quotes. So pretty much, that's just sad to me, you know? It really is, because you would think that instead of greed, the state of Florida would do more to protect endangered species like the Florida Panther. And it's just sad to see. I mean, it's not just happening in Florida, it's happening all over the world. You know, where species of animals are going extinct left and right because of man, and man has to be greedy, and they don't really care about animals, and the fact that they just care about themselves. Like, look over there in Africa, how elephants and rhinos have pretty much been decimated for the ivory, you know? And I mean, I understand that the Florida Panther, other than the hunters wanting the pelts, it's just sad to hear that it's mainly due to them being hit by cars and the fact that nobody's stopping the developers to stop them from building on that land. I would think that they would do more, but in my opinion, I'm looking at it like the government, a lot of the government agencies don't really care. They care about themselves the most, and they care about their pockets. That's my opinion. I could be wrong on that, but a lot of the times the government I don't trust, and it's mostly because of the fact that, same with politicians, they're mainly there for themselves and nobody else. And it's just really sad to hear, because you don't ever want to see, at least people that care about animals and wildlife, you don't ever want to hear a species go extinct all because people didn't stop it, you know? And it makes me sad, because there are people trying to stop it, but it seems like it's not really enough to make these greedy developers look at it like, oh, well, we should stop because this is the animal's home and we could disrupt the ecosystem and possibly make a species like the Florida Panther go extinct. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. I mean, it just makes me sad seeing it, because, you know, you don't really hear many people talking about, oh, I've seen a Florida Panther. I wouldn't doubt there are a lot of people that have been to the Everglades and whatnot, and they have never seen one, because of the fact that there's not that many out there. And since there isn't, it makes you wonder how long it would actually take before they're just gone and they're here no more.